used to be an extremely type A person. Now I'm kind of somewhere in the middle between type A and laid back, and I'm going to tell you how I did it, because I was always someone who strived to be like a perfectionist when it came to my grades, extracurriculars, and getting ahead in life generally. But I always felt like it was never enough. Like, I always felt like I came up short no matter what I was doing. It just wasn't going to be enough. And this mindset is really common amongst pre-med students because so many things are required of us. So much is expected of us, research, clinical experience, volunteering, all of that, hobbies. And also, while getting really good grades and having a really amazing social life, like, it honestly seemed next to impossible. I would just look at everyone else that was doing it and the people that I thought were kind of doing it all, and I just envied them because I saw just like how poised they were, as if they weren't struggling through any of it. It felt like I was the only one struggling to stay afloat with everything on my plate, and everyone else was just doing it easily. And now I'm in this period of my life where people might look at me and think that same thing, like, she has it all together. I got into medical school, passed my exams, now I'm doing research in Armenia, something that I really wanted to do. And I'm sure there are people out there that are like, oh my gosh, she has everything together, like her life is so put together. But it's really funny because I don't feel like that at all. Before I actually received this research grant, I told myself that I wasn't qualified enough to get it, and that I probably would just mess everything up if I did it, and I probably wouldn't be the best candidate for the job. I said all of that to myself, and despite all of that, I applied anyways. I knew it was an extremely low-risk study and something that I really wanted to do, so it was low stakes, but still there was a part of me that genuinely believed that I wasn't good enough to do it. I almost talked myself out of applying altogether, but then I just did it, and I ended up getting it, and now I'm doing research in Armenia, something that I've always dreamed of, and it's been amazing, and I've been having such a great time, and none of it would have happened if I just if I kept holding myself back and not applying for this. So I wanted to share, the steps I took to make the decision to apply and eventually get the internship or, research grant, and eventually end up coming to Armenia and not holding myself back, because I'm very good at that, and I want to share how to get out of the perfectionist mindset. Honestly, a few years ago, if I was in the same position, I probably would not have applied, because I would have thought, hey, I'm not the person that can do this project perfectly, and since I knew I wouldn't be able to do the project perfectly, I thought it was honestly better if I didn't do it at all. That is what I thought, and a lot has changed since I've had that mindset, and I'm just going to share with you what's changed so you can emulate it, and we can live our best lives and stop holding ourselves back and have the confidence of a straight white man, because that's honestly what it takes out here. Okay, this was my first realization. I realized that when I looked at other people who I wanted to be like, people who seemed to have it all, and I would just try not to put them on a pedestal. I'd try to see them as imperfect humans, as they are, as everyone is. And anytime I started to see myself like kind of putting them on that pedestal again and comparing myself to them, I just had to remind myself that, although it seems like they have it all together, at the end of the day, no one really knows what's going on. Like, we're all just doing this life thing, and life is kind of silly like that, where we all just make up these little rules and achievements and goals that we think define what a very successful and happy life looks like. But at the end of the day, do we really know what we're doing? So because we have all these preconceived notions about what is good, what is bad, what is successful, what is not, it gets to the point where you're like, I can never meet those standards, and you see other people meeting those standards and you compare yourself to them. So it's good to just remind yourself what your core values are and what your core beliefs are and what makes you happy, what makes you sad. And at the end of the day, just do what makes you happy. So I'm not telling you not to strive for anything or towards your goals. That in itself wouldn't be what a perfectionist type A person wants to hear, because I know that I'm a recovering type A perfectionist type of person. I'm telling you to work towards goals that actually speak to you, which sounds really cheesy, but essentially doing things that when you leave them, you feel better. Like you just feel refreshed. If you don't do things that you love and you think you should be doing, you will only grow resentful. And I am telling you that from personal experience. I have done that, and I do know it is not fun. So don't do that. Okay, third thing. If you feel like your insecurities are holding you back, that's what happened to me. I really want you to do this exercise. Get out a piece of paper. At the top of the page, write down what your goal is, what you want to do. It could be academic, personal, social, anything. And then underneath that, write the exact skills or, education degree you have already that applies towards this goal. Then underneath that, write the skills or education you would need to acquire in order to complete this. Then underneath that, brainstorm different ways you can acquire those skills. Do you need to watch a YouTube video? Can you talk to a professor that is perhaps an expert in that subject matter? If you go to university, take advantage. Do you know a family member or a family friend that does this kind of work? Can you find someone who will help you feel confident about working towards this goal? It's about bridging the gap. Then write underneath that how much time you would be willing to commit to this goal. A week, or every day. And you'll start to notice that you've already kind of listed out a plan to get the job done. And you've only really listed things that you know, what you don't know, what you can do to know what you don't know, and who can help you get there. It's a very simple exercise, and obviously all of this is easier said than done, I know, but for me, getting something on paper makes the world of a difference. I start to realize my problems aren't quite as big as I thought that they were, and they're actually a lot more achievable, and I'm actually a lot more capable than I thought I was. And if I don't have the skills or experience needed, then I know, since I really want to do this goal and complete this project, that I will find the resources and people that do know that will help me. It's about how much drive you have in order to get it done. It's not about who you fundamentally are as a person. We are not fundamentally incapable as people. You are very capable as a person. And I just want to remind you of that. You can do it. And I know it seems hard at the beginning. You just have to break it down. But you can do it. This next tip is crucial. Remind yourself that it doesn't need to be perfect to be done. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be done. Just know that your effort and your drive to do something is enough. The final product you create, obviously within reasonable moral and ethical means, you will have enough drive and effort, and given the extra time you're going to dedicate towards it, it's going to be great. Just don't fixate on it being perfect. And then the last tip is imagine finishing the project and how cool it would feel to have done something that you have loved. Now imagine if you let the opportunity pass. You just put it on the back burner and tell yourself you're not good enough to do it. Let that feeling really sink in and marinate, and remind yourself that that's not how you want to feel. We do not want to feel that at the end of the day, at the end of all of this. So another tip is you want to enjoy the process, which another incredibly cheesy tip, but a lot of the time, especially if you're a pre-med student, it's so easy to say, I'll just be happy when I get into medical school. I'll just be happy when I finish residency. I'll just be happy when I'm attending. Life just doesn't stop for your goals and dreams. And I really started to realize this later in my journey because I saw people around me traveling and just generally having fun with their lives, and I realized I was actually bitter and a little bit jealous towards them. I was genuinely jealous because I had never stopped looking towards the future to enjoy the present. I just wasn't enjoying my present. Now, obviously, my mindset has completely shifted, and I make it a point to prioritize loving my life as it is now in whatever stage of my training I'm in. I know it's obviously, I've said this a million times, easier said than done, but I think the best way I could put it into a piece of advice would be to just cherish the people around you who support you and find beauty in the everyday. Like, get excited about things that may seem small, but you make memorable. You make the small things memorable. Okay, that is it for my tips. This is how to not hold yourself back and enjoy the process of life. Not sure if this was too preachy, but I thought I would share a little bit of how I've been feeling since I went abroad with all of this stuff going on in my life. So let me know if you like this type of content, and I'd be happy to take video suggestions in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this helped in some way.